So in this last video, I'm going to cover the advanced sections that are covered from page 914 in your text. I'm going to start with the align section. So I'm going to swap over to SolidWorks. So if you go to page 914, I have this drawing here similar to the figure 9.31. So what a line section does is your cutting line comes down and then jogs or angles through the kind of feature that you're trying to also section. And then it takes that cutting line and basically folds it straight for your section view. So I'll demonstrate here real quick in SolidWorks. If you look at the figure, that's kind of how you would do it in AutoCAD. Throw your lines in there, and then in your section view, fold it so that your section line would be flat or straight. Alright, so I'm going to hit section view, and then in my options over here there is a button for aligned. I'll click on that. I'm going to place my, I can kind of start anywhere, but I'm going to place my starting point of my aligned section line here. I can come up here and then down to there. And that's what I need for the line for this particular part. I'm gonna hit the check mark. And then if I haven't shown you this already, if you click on this auto flip checkbox, as I move my view from one side to the other of my front view, it will appropriately send the direction, it'll make the view appropriate to that projection and also point the cutting plane arrows in the right direction. So I'm going to place it here and check. As you can see, my right view is not perfectly the same height as my front view. And that's, like I was saying, this line here gets folded so it's straight up and down, which makes this a much easier part to dimension to. And that's all there is to aligned section, and it's particularly useful for parts like this where you have some feature that's angled, and you wouldn't, if we had projected this perfectly correctly to how it is without a section view. If I just do a quick projection here, this here isn't the greatest thing to dimension to. It's not, because it's angled, it's not the wouldn't be how do I put this? You wouldn't be dimensioning to true size necessarily. So I'm going to move over to the remove section, which is on page 916. I'm going to cover what they talk about on 915 about ribs and webs with this part. It's pretty simple. If you have a rib, a thin feature on your part, you don't apply your hatching to that. And once again, SolidWorks gives you a pretty handy way of handling that. So I'm going to swap over to that part that I created. This is a little different than the one on figure 3.3-4, but it's basically the same. I just added a rib to it. And because I use the rib tool, which can be a bit, I've been playing with it lately, and it's not, there's some aspects of it that I still have to figure out, but when it does work, it's really nice. So this is the rib, and I mirrored it to the other side because I need it on both. When you create a rib, it's just you create the profile of it, which is just, I wanted a rib from this point down to here, so that is in a sketch just this line right here. And then you either click on the rib, or after you do the sketch, click on rib, and it will automatically do that. I've been trying that with some curved features, and it hasn't been working the best. I'm gonna figure out how to handle that. It's just if you are gonna use this ever, know that it's got, when you have a curved feature, when you're trying to apply a rib to a curved feature, it doesn't just automatically work. Where's my, okay. So I'm going to do the removed section. is just a straight up remove section feature here in SolidWorks, but it works a little differently than you would do it in AutoCAD. It doesn't, as far as I can tell so far, apply our arrows to it. So this is what I was talking about with the rib feature. So right now, I'm not on a rib, so I don't really need to do anything, but SolidWorks knows that I have a rib feature on this part, so it's asking me to select those if I need it for this particular view, which I don't right now, but I will in a second. So I'm going to hit OK, and then it projects down here. So this is slightly different from what they're talking about in the book. In the book, they're just talking about, instead of projecting the section view, say this way, well, I mean, it is kind of doing the same thing, but this has got alignment directly with this cut line. If I wanted to break that, because I can't, say this is a more complex part and I can't fit this here and you need to move this up here or another page, you would select the view, right click, and under alignment here, break alignment. But what it's not doing, that I was kind of hopeful that it would do, is apply the arrows and the labeling to this view so that you would know that this relates to this. I can poke around a little more. I need to poke around a little more into this to see if there's a way to doing that. Let's see here. Yeah, it doesn't seem to give me any options on that front. So if that was the case that you're going to do that, then this might not be the right tool for the job. So I'm just going to do like I did with the full section. So I'm going to hit section view. I need it vertically, so I'm going to click vertical and then select here, hit the check mark, and then once again I don't have any ribs in this situation, so I'm going to hit OK. Every time you create a new section in SolidWorks, it will automatically keep track of the letters, but the problem is if you create one and then delete it, it's just going to remember the last one. So now I'm on D, but I don't have any other ones and I'd rather it be A, so just be aware of that, and then you have to manually come in here and apply A back to it. A. I'm going to place this one over here, check. I'm going to make 3 more. I'm going to make one right at the rib, which I'll show you how to deal with the rib here in a second. Hit the check. Now this dialog pops up. Now I'm going to come over to my model tree, and under my drawing view 1, which is this one, and in the model, and then do the drop down there, I'm going to select the rib 2 and mirror 1, which that's the other side of my rib, and then I'm going to hit OK, and then place it over. If I hadn't done that, this section here and here would be hatched. Check mark, and then do one more section view. Here, check mark, OK, and place it. Which I didn't really need to do that because it's basically the same. I guess I could have put another feature in here to Okay, so I threw that new feature in there, and as you can see, it doesn't really do anything because my section cutting line's not on that. I believe you can just simply, oh, not just that simply. Let's see here. Okay, so I gotta play with that some more to figure out how to best edit a section cut line on this. It does seem like you have some options, but sometimes it's best just to start from scratch. So I'm going to delete that and these, and now I'm going to go back to view layout section. I got to place that guy there, check, and OK, and click. Okay. Okay, so there's my 3 views, but I don't really want them placed like this because of, who knows, something, the more complex part. I need to move these views. They're in the way, but because they're all labeled, I can move them, like I said, to another sheet, or if I have the space on this current sheet, I could just move them to another area and they'd be good. So it's a bit of a tedious task. I tried to do a select each of them and try doing this, but it doesn't seem to work. So I have to go to each one of them, right click, alignment, break alignment, move it to new place, right click, alignment, break alignment, move, right click, break alignment, move. Now they're kind of, you can do this and just have them floating around. I frankly think that looks junky, so I can come back in here. Let's see if this works. I don't have much faith that it will, but let's try. Okay, alignment horizontally by, we'll say, origin. And let's see here, this done. So I just did this one to that one. Okay, so one more time, right click, shift, alignment horizontally by origin, this guy. Oh, so I'm guessing I was already on that. How about that guy? There. So now they're all aligned with each other horizontally. Now I can place them where I need them. They're properly labeled, so I know this A cuts through there, so that relates to this one, and so on and so forth. Another one, I haven't really ever used a couple of these other ones, but I'll run through them. The Revolved section, that's kind of like what we just did with the Removed. I have not really found an option in SolidWorks to do a Revolved section. I never really used one in my work experience, but there's an option there. It would be very easy to do in AutoCAD. Just take whatever your front view or whatever you're working on and take that shape, put it into the front view, and then hatch that little spot. That Revolve section that I was just talking about, that's page 917, 9.3.5, Revolve section. The other one I'm going to show you real quick is the broken section, which is on 916, 9.3.3, broken section. I'm going to delete these guys here real quick. And so I'm going to show you how to do it here in SolidWorks, and then in AutoCAD, kind of the same thing. It's going to show me using a spline in SolidWorks here. Same thing in AutoCAD. There's a spline tool. Click on it. Same process. Click, 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 click. Creates a little spline. You can do the little S shape they have in the book, and then hatch that little area that you want to be the broken section. So I'm going to click on broken out section here. I'm going to create my spline like I was talking about. So I could create kind of this S shape, and then I got to close the spline here. And then the depth of it, which I believe this was 1. Click on the preview to see if that works. Yep, okay. And check. So that just went in 1 inch from the front edge here and created this kind of broken out view. So I could see some use in this one. Like I said, I never really used one, but I could see it being useful in certain situations. So that is the extent of section views. I'm not going to say that that's all of them that you can do, but that is you'll probably more often than not use a full section, and then of that full section, I've always done would be a partial view, which we haven't really covered. So if it's a really big part, you do that section, kind of scrunch your cut line. Let's see if I can kind of demonstrate that. So that's a partial section. Clicking on here, dragging this guy around. Come on. See if I can get it with that. Oh, nope. I think that's where I'm going to have to... There we go. So wherever your cutting line starts and ends is basically that area for your section view. So if I only need a little bit of it, I can just draw in the line, project it out, and there's my section view. So yeah, that I don't think they cover in the book. Nope, doesn't look like it. That one I've used a lot is the partial section, because especially when you have big assemblies, the partial section is very helpful. So I'll have several exercises assigned for this section view section of the class, and we'll move on to auxiliary views once those are done.